especially in today when we're in cancel culture all the time. We need more comedians to just take risks and say stuff. But I wanted to ask you, as a last topic about the LGBTQRSTUVWXY and Z agenda.
The agenda? That sounds so nefarious.
It is agenda. It is agenda. When you start, trying to get policies placed into school that allows teachers to call your child by a different gender, and as a parent, they're not required to tell you. They could be calling your little boy Samantha all day at school, and they don't have to tell you. That's an agenda, right? When you start trying to systemize it, to make it systemic, it becomes an agenda. And when you see how vicious that lobby has become, particularly the trans, I've said, you had me at the LGB, lost me at the T.
Why the T?
The T, because that's when you started telling people they were bigots because they don't want to play the crazy game. So here's my point. I think trans is a mental disorder. I think there's tons, gender dysphoria is a mental disorder. There's tons of mental disorders out there. There are people that walk around down the street and think they are Superman. Think they have powers and they can fly and they're Batman. And I would never want to see that person attacked. I grew up in a family where one of my uncles had severe mental disorders and thought he was Indian from a tribe or something, kind of.
I had a family member like that too. He just always sit on the porch and he would play out these whole scenes. Me and my cousin would be outside playing, and he would, full-blown stories. He'd sit on the porch, and people came up and did drive-bys on him. He was fighting. He had whole storylines. He knew the people. He had powers. He really believed that shit. He was crazy, but he really had a mental disorder. It didn't even have nothing to do with the trans thing, but just to her point, yeah, it's a lot of people like that, and they do consider that he was clinically diagnosed as having a mental disorder. It wasn't the same thing as him thinking he trans, but I did have a family member like that.
Got it, because he was in solitary confinement for too long and he actually went crazy in prison. So I've always been sensitive to people that have, mental disorders. But when you start saying in society that you now have to pretend that Candace's uncle is an Indian, and if you don't, acknowledge him as Pocahontas, then you're a bigot.
Yeah,
that's wrong. Now you're putting the pressure on me to not just be, accepting of this, but now to play the crazy game and to say, if you mispronounce and you don't call him Chief Pocahontas, then you're a bigot. Yeah. I don't play that game. I'm I'm going to live in reality. You cannot live in reality. You can say how you feel. You can say what you think you see. You can say that you think that, we're on Mars now, but I'm not going to pretend that I see Mars because it makes you more comfortable.
And I agree with that. That's facts. Now, one thing about me, I'm a respectful person. So if I come around you and you are a person of the trans community and you want to be addressed as he or she, depending on whatever your transition was, I don't mind that. I'm not finna make it a big thing and go out my way to disrespect you in person. But if you do ask me my personal thoughts, I'm gonna keep it real. If somebody asks me, if I know I got a friend that's trans, and I do know people that's trans that I'm cool with. When I'm around them, I address them how they want to be addressed, just a sign of respect, you know what I'm saying? But, and it, really ain't no issue with me addressing them. But if they ask me, and, like I said, I'm cool with them, and I'm straight up with everybody. Them type of people, my straight friends, whatever. If they ask me straight up, do I think they're a girl if they're a man? I'm going to say no. I think you're a man. To me, you're a man. Biologically, you're a man, and vice versa. Do I think if I have a homegirl that's transitioning to being a man, if she asks me that, I'm going to tell her straight up, nah, you're a woman. You're a biological woman. I'm going to respect what you got going on because it ain't that deep to me to go out my way to disrespect you. But if you ask me my personal thoughts will never change. And you're not going to get me to convert to that. I can respect you while disagreeing with, if you actually believe that you're an actual woman or man. I can still show that respect, but still have my own beliefs. And you got to respect my beliefs as a heterosexual person, too. And that's basically what Candace is saying. Y'all can't come in our space demanding that we look at something different. If I see the color's red and you telling me it's blue, red is red. I'm not going to change my answer to blue. That's all she's saying. It's basic logic.
I would, obviously I disagree. And what's interesting is there are people, you say you're with the L and the G and the B. There are people who 30 years ago would have made the exact same arguments against you for the L, the G, and the B. They would have said that there's scientific data, that these are people who have mental disorders. There's some misalignment between what they desire and what they're supposed to. That there's some kind of gender thing going on that they're confused about. And I think that we have to do a few things. For me, I think the easy part, and this is the part I think you and I agree on, is that we have to accept, and we should accept people as they present themselves in the world, right? Like if someone says I told you my pronouns were she, her, you would address me as she and her, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No, I call you Marc.
Okay, but you wouldn't call me he.
No, because I mean, I would call you Marc, if that was something that made you comfortable, but call you.
And if I said my name Jane, would you then call me Jane?
If that was your legal name, yes.
But you'd only call me by my legal name.
I call you by your legal name. I don't have an issue with that, but I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to change what these established pronouns for male and female because you say, I'm Marc and here I am.
So what do you? So I really want to ask you. I'm genuinely curious about this. But first, let me just say, I think that one, this isn't a case of someone thinking there's something they're not. What people are saying is that there is a misalignment between my sex and my gender.
Disorder.
No.
That's the point. My mind and my body don't match. That's a disorder.
That doesn't make it a disorder. It just means that the world may be more diverse than we've previously understood it to be, whether we see it in plants, whether we see it in animals. There's all kinds of complexity. And we look in history. I mean, even we go back to the continent of Africa, we look in Asia. There's all kinds of examples of people who have complicated gender performances and complicated understandings of gender, and how you perform gender can be different. But I guess my question for you would be, why, if someone identifies as particularly someone who you engage with, say it's a colleague at work or whomever, a family member, whomever, if they say, look, I prefer to be called she and her, and I no longer want to be identified by this name, why not just honor that?
If you changed your name, I will honor it.
But why not? I mean, I'm sure you call people by nicknames, dog. I'm sure you grew up in a black neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
People, I know you know somebody named Peanut, right?
Yeah.
You don't say, well, that's not your legal name. Your mama named you Joe. I'm gonna call you Joe.
No, I'm saying if a name is one thing, but if you're asking me to change pronouns, I'm not going to do that because these are established pronouns. You're asking me to now change the English language, right? We know why we call female she, her, girl, woman. Okay, these are words that have meanings. They're words that have meaning. So this is a book. Right. So could you call this is a book and this is a mug? Could you call this a book and call this a mug? Yes, you could do that if you want to change it, but words have meanings, right? So now if I switch it and you say, well, this mug wants to be called a book, it's a mug. It's just a mug. This is the word we've established for mugs. This is the word we've established for books. So you're asking me to change the actual meaning of words to accommodate you. I'm not going to do that.
No,
I'm not going to do that. It is because not only is it a request, you can now get in trouble in certain states.
I'm saying that's not
for misgendering someone.
The request of the trans community is not that I'm actually a man, but I want you to pretend I'm a woman. The argument of the trans community, which I agree with, is no, I am a woman, and so I want. But
you're not a woman. So that's
it's just as simple as that. You're not a woman if it's a man transitioning, and you're not a man if it's a woman transitioning. You're biologically whatever you were born with. If you was born with a penis, you're a man. You born with a vagina, you're a woman. You can, change your appearance. You can have surgeries, and people can respect that. That's cool. You live your life. You do what you want to do. That don't affect me none that you live in your life. All she's saying is you got to respect our side too. You got to respect the heterosexual standpoint. You have to respect the fact that we're not going to conform to that. We can show that respect, and y'all can show respect. It ain't going to just be one side dominating the other and you trying to basically force that on us or force that on the kids or force that in the school curriculum. That's all she's saying. And, I mean, I feel like that's pretty base logic to me. I don't see what the pushback is when it comes to that. It's a lot of common sense topics, but, they say common sense ain't so common.
That's the problem. So this is what I say is now you've asked me to take on your mental disorder, right? So I am okay with the fact, the argument from my uncle who thought he's not. Okay, so I'm not, then to say to me that that argument is valid because he thinks it, no, just because you think something doesn't make it real, okay?
But that's exactly what gender is. Gender is exactly about an experience and a performance and a social construct.
It's not a social construct. Stop saying a social construct. To say that words don't have meaning and they're socially constructed means nothing, and I'll tell you why.
They are.
But you say that, but then
This wasn't always a book.
Okay,
this
so
could
then,
be called mug.
So
It
then,
just happens not
you know
to be.
what it is? Our entire discussion about Black America meant nothing. There's no such thing as racial injustice.
You got him.
See what I did there?
Got him.
Black is a social construct.
Yeah, but we live in a social reality. So within that social reality,
it can't be both, Mark. So you either
Sure it
think
can
that
be.
the gender wage gap is BS, that feminism is wrong, and that racial disparities are all BS because everything's a social construct. You're either going to go full postmodernist and say nothing is real and it's all made up, or you're going to acknowledge that there are some hard, concrete truths. If there are hard, concrete truths, you and I are Black, okay? That's not going to change because we wake up and we decide, you know what, today I'm white and it's just how I feel, and today I'm Chinese. No. You and I are Black, okay? We are acknowledged as Black people. We're sitting down as Black people. I am a woman. You are a man, okay? Now, if I want to wake up tomorrow and say I'm a man, you want to say you're a woman and we want to play the crazy game, we can do that. To then say all of society now is to pretend that it was all a social, no, it was a social contract. You were born a male. I was born a female.
yes, that's a sex.
We are Black. Okay, it's a color though. Black it's a word that we use to say a sex. Female is a word that we use that has a meaning.
Yes,
it means you are born with a vagina. You can have children. You have a uterus. When you are a male, you are born with a penis. You get a woman pregnant. These words have real meanings. We cannot suddenly get into society where there are no truths.
So to acknowledge a social construct does not mean that we ignore biology.
Because look, at that point, she got him. He gonna now, of course, he gonna push back. But you can't have both. Like she said, if that's the case, all that Black shit you talking about, all the shit that we go through, racism, et cetera, you're going to negate that. You automatically saying that that's invalid based off of your logic behind the trans community. So you can't skate that middle line. You have to pick a side. Either we have reality or everything is a social construct, which she said, if that's the case, nothing really matters. We not Black. There's no racism. And you got to be careful with shit like that because you open up the gate for a lot of shit. What happened when we get men that say, well, I identify as a kid. Now you got PDF files trying to deal with kids and they saying it's not illegal because I identify as a kid or I identify as this. When you got to be very careful when you playing this type of game because you do open up that gate for other things to come in, a lot of dark shit that you might not want to address. So you got to be careful about how you talking when you talk about these social constructs and you don't want to live in reality and you want to play dumb or just, be intentionally ignorant about shit that's really common sense. And I'm not hearing her disrespect nobody. She ain't for the disrespect. She just pointing out things that's literally common sense. But, let's see what he say.
It doesn't mean that we don't have.
Can men get pregnant?
No.
Depends.
No.
I know.
What does it depend on?
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means it's a woman.
Yeah, that's not
only
a man.
one sex can
Well,
get
that's a
pregnant.
circular argument. That's
It's not a
begging the
circular
question.
argument.
Yeah.
It's proving my thing. There is a truth, a concrete truth. You have to be born with a uterus to have a baby. Only women can get pregnant. The fact that we've arrived in a society where
Right,
this
that's
is
the part
even
I'm disagreeing
debatable.
with. That's the part I'm disagreeing
There's
with.
nothing to disagree with it. These are facts. So you can say that this person who is pregnant identifies as a man. That person was born a woman. I can tell you that every single time because only women can have sex because there are concrete truths about life.
Have babies.
Can have babies, pardon. And that is a hard truth about life. You cannot make that go away because you want to call a man, somebody who has a beard and dresses like a dude a woman. Only if it's pregnant, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a woman.
So I'll give you. Let's go back to social construct thing because then it'll answer the thing you just said. I'm not ignoring what you just said. I want to tie it together. So the idea of my point was that a social construct doesn't ignore physical realities, right? The social construct is about how we as a society make sense of those physical realities, right? So, for example, you said we're Black, sure, right? I'm trying to think of you pick a light-skinned Black person, right? They're Black, right? We'd agree on that. Mm-hmm. Now let's go to the Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the PR. Let's go to Puerto Rico. Let's go to Jordan. Let's go to Iraq. Let's go to Sudan. Let's go to Ghana, right? And let's go to South Africa. I'm picking these places very specifically because they have different racial logics and racial paradigms. And what it means to be Black here, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a universal.
All Black people, they just geographically located in different places. That point does not go against what she's talking about with the specific topic that they're on.
So Blackness. right? If in Dominican, there might be 5 different other racial categories, right? And there are some light-skinned black folk here who, when they go to Ghana, get basically seen as white, right? Because of how we socially construct it. Doesn't mean my biology changed. Doesn't mean my physical reality changed, but how society engages this stuff is what makes it a social construct. So similarly, when it comes so I'm not ignoring the realities of race. So with race and racism in America, and then I'm going to take it back to the gender thing. When it comes to race and racism in America, it's, yes, biologically we're all the same, right? Black people, white people, there's an infinitesimal difference between a black person and a white person in terms of our genetics, right? This is superficial stuff. But that's a biological reality, right? It's a biological fact, right?
Well, I mean, to an extent, we are still different. You know, they do say the black woman has the mother gene. You know, all color comes from the black woman. So, yeah, I mean, for the most part, you know, we all humans, but there is a slight difference when it comes to our DNA and genetic makeup and background.
Just like as biologically true as me being born with a penis, right? But the truth is, but the idea that there's social meanings attached to that blackness that make people fear me, or that make people think that that person's life is worth more because they're white or whatever. Those are social meanings that are arbitrary
Correct.
and different. So to acknowledge social constructs doesn't mean you ignore biological realities.
But you just did that when you said that men could give birth.
So similarly, what I'm saying is that I'm not denying the biological reality of maleness, of the genitalia we're assigned at birth and what we can do with those body parts. I'm not denying that. That's a biological reality. Again, the social meaning I'm attaching to it is what I'm saying is more complicated.
But it's not complicated.
Not complicated.
Can men give birth?
No.
Sometimes. That's my answer. Yes.
And the answer that is crazy. And this is we cannot. It's just crazy. We cannot allow this to happen.
But you wouldn't say the definition of being a woman is the ability to give birth.
And I'm not saying it, but only women can give birth is a factually true statement. Only women can give birth. There's only one type of human being
only
that
people
can
with
give
uteruses
birth.
and vaginas
Yes,
and
can
stuff
give
can
birth.
give birth.
Only women can give birth.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Birth.
I'm not, and that here's what I think we're talking past each other. What I'm saying is, I'm not disputing the fact that certain body parts yield certain kinds of possibilities, right? What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that that is the measure of whether or not you're a man or a woman in society.
Okay, but it is now come to a point where if you say that only women can give birth, you are called a bigot. That is crazy. That's nuts. So if you say, like J.K. Rowling did when she got canceled by the Harry Potter cast, that only women can menstruate, okay? Can men get their period? Can you help my audience? Can men get their period?
No.
Some can.
Okay.
Yeah, trans men. There's some trans men who can.
See?
And
see
again,
how he has to say trans in front of everything? If it was legit, he would just say, yeah, they can, men can. But he know he bullshit.
I think it's okay to ask interesting questions. I think it's okay to have intellectual debates. But I don't think that we ever want to enter a space where we deny the humanity. And I'm not saying you are, but to deny the humanity or the experiences of other people.
Like I said, I was totally okay with trans until it became a demand. What you are denying is my ability to be an intelligent human being, right? You're denying my ability to talk about science and biology in a meaningful way. You are now making your existence is actually infringing on mine. Okay.
How so?
And because when you make it a requirement now that I have to pretend that men can give birth and men can menstruate and there needs to be tampons as the ACLU is fighting for in male restrooms, and that if I don't see the reason, the importance of that, then I'm a bigot. I'm someone that doesn't accept. No. I accept you if you want to run around and you want to wear a dress and you want to call yourself Tiffany and you want to put a pillow in
Tiffany.
If you want, I don't need to know your name. It doesn't mean anything to me. If you want to call, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe your name is Tiffany. You know, if a person comes up to me and they're in a dress and a skirt and they say my name's Tiffany, okay, cool, Tiffany, cool, right? But when it becomes Candace is a bigot because she won't acknowledge that, you know, Tiffany the man got her period and can have a baby, I'm not playing that game. I will never. So
tomorrow,
back
I'll come
down.
on your show tomorrow, and I have decided that, or a year from now, suddenly I have reimagined my identity, and I have recognized and affirmed my identity as a trans woman, and I no longer want to identify as Marc. I want to identify, as to use your example, as Tiffany. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be like, this book says Marc, you're Marc. You'd call me Tiffany.
I'd call you Tiffany, but I'm not going to call you she and her because that has real meaning, and I'm not going to play the game.
What's compromised by that is what I'm trying to understand.
My reality. You're now saying you've transformed your reality, and now I have to pretend that words have no meanings, and they do have meanings, right?
They do.
So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call you, hi, Tiff. How you doing, Tiff? Did you have a good day, Tiff? Great, Tiff. I'm not going to then say she. I'm not doing that. And if people cannot, if people the demand.
But you won't misgender me either.
What? I'll just call you Tiffany.
But and if they say where'd Tiffany
And
go,
I
you're not gonna
don't-
be like he just left. You'll say she just left.
I'll probably slip up, once or twice. But
I'm not talking about
Tiffany
mistakes,
just
but I'm saying
left.
you wouldn't intentionally misgender me.
No, I wouldn't intentionally misgender you, but I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom. I don't want Tiffany
But
in
you also
my
don't want
spaces.
tampons in the other
That's
bathroom.
fair.
That's what I don't get.
No, I don't care. I don't care. I think it's stupid. I think it's foolish. I think it's dumb. But if that's really where guys want to go, do it. I don't care. It's not my business. It doesn't impact me. I don't have to go in the bathroom. But I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom.
And you okay? Are you okay with gender neutral bathrooms?
That's how most bathrooms are. That's all. Go on the plane. They're all gender neutral.
No, I got you. But
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm talking
bathroom, fine.
But I'm
Cool.
saying designating a specific one, like in public spaces, like restaurants.
Yeah, I hate that they say gender neutral because usually they just say bathroom. Like they don't need to say gender neutral. It just says bathroom, and we all understood that. That just seems to be an extra step of virtue signaling to say gender neutral. You just put bathroom. Everyone knows what that means. It
No,
means
but a lot of times in places, like for example, in our university, we have male bathrooms, we have female bathrooms, and
Yeah.
then we have gender neutral bathrooms.
you could just put bathroom. Everyone knows what it means. You put WC, everyone knows what it means. It means anybody can go here. That's always been that way since the beginning of time. And then suddenly the trans lobby wanted to say gender neutral, and suddenly we had to put gender neutral.
That's
and
so
I was like,
fascinating because I find it actually be the right in this case, and I'm not.
planes. Do they say gender neutral? Or they
I'm
just
with you.
bathroom.
I'm with you. I mean, grandmom's house.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, right? I mean, no one called it gender. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I often find that it's the anti-trans community that's like, oh my God, a gender neutral bathroom.
it's the-
God made bathroom for man, bathroom for woman. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, they've always been just bathrooms. Usually at small places, just bathrooms. It's fine, but like I can't stand the preamble to the Constitution. Any person can go here. We don't care whether you. Just shut up.
I think
just put
that's
bathroom.
a good thing. I think
No,
that's
it's just
about
annoying. It's just the constant virtue signaling. Shut up.
Yeah,
Just put
it
bathroom.
already
It's about
existed.
affirming people's
It's just
identity.
bathroom.
You don't need your identity affirmed on a bathroom sign. If you need
You
that,
do if you've been denied access.
it just says
That's
bathroom.
privilege.
Just says, it's not privilege.
That's cisgender privilege. It
oh
really
my
is.
god.
Marc Lamont must be doing this for content because there's no way she just pointed out the fact that since the beginning of time, since we had a bathroom system, it just says bathroom. Unless it's literally woman, man. Outside of that, if it's just one bathroom at an establishment, it just say bathroom. You need to go, and it's usually like a one-person bathroom if it's a bathroom where both people can go, the men and the women. So it's usually a one-person bathroom, and you just lock the door, and you wait for the person to come out. And it doesn't say gender neutral. It just say bathroom, like she said. Just say bathroom.
Stop with these made-up terms. Cisgender privilege. It's just a bathroom.
All words are made up.
I
What
mean,
are we talking
it's just
about?
a
It's
bathroom.
a necessary word.
It's like and
No,
this
but what
is
I'm saying is, if you've been constantly denied access to something, affirming that you can come here matters because there's a long history of trans people.
just right bathroom.
Right, and I'm saying, just right bathroom historically has still excluded people who are visibly gender nonconforming. If you go throughout history, you know how many people are kicked out of restaurants and not even allowed to sit in the restaurant, much less use the bathroom because their gender doesn't seem to line up with what society's expectations. And so saying you can come here too is a sign of saying we welcome you. It's just like when you see like an ally sign or a rainbow flag on a restaurant. It's not saying that anyone who doesn't have one means gay people can't come in, but the point is because places have been so hostile, affirming that you can come in
Nothing
matters.
annoys me more than that crap. I mean, I tell you, nothing annoys me more than seeing that crap everywhere all the time. It's just, you gotta have the Black Lives Matter flag, the LGBT flag, the this sign. It's like, dude, since when are people not allowed to just buy furniture? I don't need you to have 18 different signs. Like, I just want to walk into the furniture store. It's not
Because
everything.
people aren't welcome. Would you be okay if they're American flag? Would you be mad at an American flag?
Can you help me? When
Where
were
are
gay
they
people
not?
in America not allowed to buy
where are they
furniture?
not
You're gonna have to help
welcome
me out with that.
It's not specific to furniture, but gay people.
I'm saying like it's every store now. It's every store. They have to put a flag.
There's a historical narrative.
When were gay people not allowed to go into McDonald's?
Yeah,
as long as
I'm
there
trying
have
to
been
figure this out.
McDonald's.
What?
And and this isn't specific to McDonald's. I'm saying that in terms of public accommodations, people who identify as gender nonconforming, we can talk about gay, lesbian, bisexual. But I'm talking specifically right now about trans folk. Yes, they're often denied access to public spaces like restaurants, like furniture stores, like hospitals, etc. And part of the reason, and
I personally know gay people. I have gay people in my family. I personally know some trans people. I've never seen them be denied access to shit ever. Whether it was a restaurant, a club, anything, like literally, I've never seen that. I've never seen that happen. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened to anybody ever. I'm sure it has, but the percentage of that shit has to be extremely, extremely, extremely low. And that's illegal. You can't discriminate on people about that. But I've never seen that. They've never told me that. I've never seen them experience it. They get into everywhere they go just fine. Get good service, no problems. I don't know what the fuck he talking about. It's just like he trying to play victim for them. But I personally know gay people. I personally know trans people. Never seen them have a problem getting into any establishment or doing anything that they wanted to do, to be honest with you.
And there's plenty of that on this, is that when they're in public space, they're often criminalized. They're often seen as sex workers, they're often seen as doing something illicit, even if they're just walking down the street. So the reason you see an overrepresentation of trans women, for example, being stopped and searched and frisked or apprehended or questioned, even when they've done nothing, or presumed to be doing sex work just because they're on a corner, like literally they could be crossing the street, is because there's an expectation of who and what they are, a social construct. And so, yes, to say, look, you can come here, we want you here, we won't be judged here, this is a safe haven here, is entirely reasonable. If I had a university, to use your argument earlier, and I think it's okay for a university on the website to say, hey, we value diversity of opinion. We want conservatives too, right? Now you might say, well, why do I need to say that? Conservatives should be allowed anywhere. But you would say universities are hostile spaces to conservatives. So if I wanted to signal to conservatives that they were welcome here too, I would have to go above and beyond to say that, because they're typically not. And so I would, by your argument, and so I'm saying similarly, if a place is denying access historically, a country, to queer folk or to trans folk, then I'm saying, yeah, we got to do something extra to say that.
Maybe we should come up with a flag for conservative people. I
think it's red, white, and blue. It has like 50 stars.
Oh, just America? That's it? We'll take it. Everyone start putting American flags so we know that it's safe for conservatives to go in.
Maybe it's the Confederate one. Maybe it's the Confederate one. I don't know.
I mean, whatever.
I don't know, Marc. You know, the Confederate flag might identify as an American flag. So it's all a social construct. It might not matter, Marc.
By saying I think this was a very important discussion.
Yeah, this is fun.
I think there needs to be more of this. We don't have to agree, but we cannot be scared to have the conversation. People benefit from seeing different perspectives in the Black community. We are not all a monolith. I disagree with Marc on virtually everything he has said here, but I will defend. You don't know what that does for me and my fans.
Thank you.
I will.
So we're going to end it there. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I appreciate everybody rocking with me. We on the road to 500 subs. I'm about 75 away now. Right now, currently, we at 425. So I appreciate y'all. I done gained over about 100 subs in the past month. I'm gonna definitely stay consistent for y'all. Stay pumping out this content for y'all. All I ask y'all to do is like the videos and subscribe if you ain't already subscribed. If you made it this far, you watching me right now, you watching me say this right now, man, just, help your bro out, man. Just hit the like button, man. Hit the subscribe button. More importantly, I need my subscribers. I need y'all to lock in with me. We almost there. Small milestone. And like I say, after I hit it, we gonna go for the next milestone. Until then, y'all have a great day. Be great. Raw Reality Mindset. Juan Ramon. We out. Gang.